doing trailer sales, saving the world one great deal at a time.
So I could assist photographers. I'd go out with them on jobs and that sort of thing. Decided that Toronto wasn't my thing. Came back to Medicine Hat for the summer because my sister and her husband were teaching in Redcliffe. So I came and I stayed with them. Worked at what was then the Continental Inn, is now the Quality Inn.
Okay.
Right? Worked in the restaurant there. Saved up enough money so I could go to my girlfriend's wedding that summer, at the end of the summer. When I came back from there, I went home to Forestburg, and I got a call from the TV station here because one of the fellows had met me, lived next door to my sister. Called me, said, would you like to have a job doing photography at the TV station? So I thought, well, that's a little easier than going out and looking for a job, because I was going to go to Vancouver at that point and look for a job. So took the job. Worked at the TV station for 3 years. During those 3 years, I met a fellow here in Medicine Hat and decided I was going to stay. So if I'm going to stay, well, I better be doing something other than TV, because it was not really where I wanted to be. I wanted to be doing still photography. So at the time, Gainsboro Studio was for sale. So I went and talked to the people there and ended up buying the studio. Not buying the premises that they were in, but ended up buying the studio and moving it into my own premises that I had on 4th Street.
Okay. And how many years did you do that for?
I did that for almost 27 years, just shy of 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah, about a month shy.
So how did you end up transitioning into advocacy and your role with the Palliser Friends of Medicare?
Do you know, it's an odd thing. And I guess maybe I thought that it was just me, but while I was in business, I felt that I couldn't speak out in my political beliefs for fear of losing business. I think that's a very sad statement on democracy, but it's real. Since I have been working with Friends of Medicare and advocating for publicly funded Medicare, which I feel most Albertans want, truly believe in publicly funded, publicly administered health care. I find that this is a very deep-seated fear, not just those who work in healthcare, but also a lot of small business owners feel very, very similar, that if they speak out and say how they really feel about healthcare and how they feel that our government is eroding public health care, they feel that they will be penalized. And I thought we were going to have fun here. Talk about fun things.
That's the only real serious question.
Okay.
Next one. Who is your biggest role model?
Oh, you know, that probably has changed in as my life has progressed. When I was younger, I would have to say that my father had probably the biggest influence on me, and that would be, you know, political, right? Standing up for what you believe in, speaking out for what you believe in. And I guess probably that was early on, he was very influential, and probably now I feel his influence on me, even though he died probably 10 years ago almost now. But I feel that one of his passions was Medicare.
Okay.
And so that is really truly one of the things that I have continued on.
Yeah.
In my intern life, probably would be my mother,
Okay.
because she was a very kind, or she is, she's still alive. She's very kind, very thoughtful, very motivating.
Yeah.
But in that, always treat people how you would like to be treated.
Yeah.
That kind of idea. So.
Okay. You seem like you're a bit of an animal lover.
Oh, I love my puppy dogs.
Yeah. You have just one, or?
I just have one.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, grew up with a dog, and my mom tells this story. You have to hear this story. My mom tells this story about when I was probably 4 or 5. I, of course, was in trouble with my mom, with my dad, with my sisters. So I come and I lay down beside my puppy dog, and I put my arm around him. He was a bigger dog, right? So we were about the same size. And I look into his big brown eyes, and I go, "Oh, Tippy, you love me, don't you?" So my puppy dogs always love me.
Okay. What movie has affected you most?
I'd have to say that there are 2. There's one movie called The Way We Were. It's a 1970s movie.
Okay.
And it was about a couple that were very much drawn to each other and very much in love with each other. But he was from a more wealthy, upscale family, and she was from more a working class family. She would be the person who would, be out there on the demonstrations and marching, and very much an advocate, right? And no matter how hard they tried, their 2 lives could never come together. And I always have felt a bit of both of those people, that I was partly one and I was partly the other, and have a very hard time bringing those 2 lives together. And so that really affects me.
It's a good answer. What is your favorite pair of shoes and why?
Oh, I would have to say my hiking boots.
Okay.
I found I love wearing high heels, but my hiking boots are the things that absolutely fit right, can do anything in them. And I used to, when I was still working, I would be very dressed up going someplace, and I'd have my hiking boots on because, it made my back feel better, made my neck feel better, made my feet feel better, and I could work better in them.
And last question, what is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
Oh, I try to work really hard at not embarrassing myself, but I can manage to do that really well. I would still have to say one of the most embarrassing things was when I was quite young, and it was weird, and it happened to involve partly of being in Medicine Hat. When I was going to NAIT, I played basketball. There was this real tall 6'6" basketball player who I had like a wicked crush on. And we were on a road trip because the 2 teams, the girls and the guys, they traveled together. And we were down in Medicine Hat, and we were staying at a hotel right on the highway. And at that time, there was a huge amount of construction going on, but probably 1972 or 73. And then we were walking across the street to go for lunch, and this big souped up car with these big, tailpipes and kind of comes along and drives in front of us, and I look at that car and I go, oh, I just can't stand people that drive those kind of cars and act like that and spin their tires and zoom their engines. And so anyhow, nothing was said. We continued on, yada-da-da, right? We get home to Edmonton and at NAIT, and it's like, 25 below, and I was going to catch the bus and go home. And this really handsome basketball player says to me, Jan, would you like a ride home? And I go, oh, I'd love one. That would be terrific. And he goes, oh, just wait here. I'll go get my car, right? So here he comes up in this car, and it's a zooped up car, jacked up in the back and all of these, and he pulls up in front of the doors and he guns his engine. And I go walking out and go, oh, nice car. And he laughs and goes, like, okay, gotta be careful, you gotta know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm a little red, but I got it right.
Yeah. Awesome. You know what, I should ask, do you still take a lot of pictures now that you don't have a studio?
Not very many, no. On holidays I do a little bit, but no, not very many.
See, I think you'd have fun stories from that too, but maybe that's for another conversation.
Probably.